Matt Miller.
Regret the podcast. 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 Hi, I'm Matt Miller, and welcome to the first episode of Regret the Podcast. This is called Regret the Podcast because it's a podcast in which I tell you my regrets and hopefully start interviewing other people and they tell you their regrets. I thought it'd be interesting if there was a podcast where people just revealed their regrets to the world so that everyone knew that other people got regrets. Now, right now I am sober. I am standing up in front of a microphone saying these words. But this is just a little intro. I recorded the main part of the podcast in my bed under the influence. That way, I was loosened up to tell you my regrets. Right now, again, I am sober, and I'm telling you this as an intro to it. So I'm going to cut to the audio of when I was in bed trying to do the podcast, and that's about like 30 minutes long, and then I fall asleep at the end, and then I'm going to cut back to audio of me sober to close it out. But yeah, hopefully it's interesting. I talk about a wide range of topics. Not everything I talk about I regret, but I talk about like many things in my life, like breaking bones and girls and playing video games and drug use and weird shit. So hopefully that's interesting to you. And yeah, let me cut to the audio of me in my bed under the influence, trying to tell you about my regrets, but really just going off the rails. And yeah, the whole point of this is to just let the regrets out. So hopefully you enjoy. Thank you. Regret the podcast. Hello, I'm Matt Miller. And this is Regret the Podcast. The only podcast where people talk about their regrets. Now I'm eating a Nutter Butter right now. Because at the gas station, this was the cheapest snack I could get. I don't regret getting it. It's pretty good, Nutter Butter, but it's not exactly what I wanted. Is that a bad way to start things? This is the second time I recorded this right now. What time is it right now? It's 4:26 a.m. 4:26, I could show you my phone. Where is my phone? I don't know where it is right now. I'm trying to record this podcast for the second time. The first time I had to stop recording it because I ran out of space on my memory card. And then because I'm impulsive, I deleted everything because fuck it. I'm going to start anew. I got a little bit of chocolate on my hands. You can't really see that, but just eating a Nutter Butter. I've had a bunch of non-alcoholic beverages tonight. I haven't gone to sleep yet, even though it's 4:27 a.m. because I want to record a fucking podcast called Regret the Podcast, and I am recording right now. So you get to see me raw here in my bed, lying here. I don't even know if this shot is good at all. I just needed to say words. So the point of this podcast is for me to display all the regrets I have in life to you, and maybe display regrets that other people have in life. And this first one is for my regrets. Let me sit up a bit here. This is my bed right here. I got my laptop, other pillow, recording device, the camera right there. And I'm right here. I got some Gatorade that I'm drinking. I don't know if you drink alcohol, but Gatorade certainly helps eliminate the hangovers from drinking alcohol. I never regret drinking Gatorade. This is a full Gatorade, though. It has all the calories, 80 calories for every 20 fluid ounces, so that's whatever. Got a little bit of a gut here. Whatever the fuck. But yeah, Regret the Podcast. This is the first one, Regret the Podcast. I like the name because people could say they regret listening to it. They could say, I regret listening to this. If anyone listens to it, I hope one day to have other people tell me about the regrets. But for the first one, I'm going to tell you about my regrets as a human being. So far, I am 29 years old. Do you know that? Do you know that I'm 29 years old? I'm not 30 yet. I'm 29 years old. And this is where I am in life, in my bed, trying to record a podcast at 4:29 a.m. because I talked to my friend for a while before this, drinking, so I could do the podcast. What is even a podcast, you know? It's just audio that you recorded. And you're like, that's good enough for people to hear. And it's just like, it could be bullshit. It could all be bullshit. Don't mind that. That was a little bit of a spit take for you. I'm not going to cut it out. I'm just going to leave it in because that's real. It's all real right now. I'm a real person. I'm real. Now, this piece of paper right here, I wrote a bunch of my regrets. These are pretty surface level regrets. These aren't even that deep. This is a notebook paper all the way from college. I've had this notebook paper since like 18, 19. I've had this notebook paper for like 10 years. It's got a lot of interesting things. What does it even have in it? See if I go up here. So like when I was like 19, this is the first girl I really dated, Stephanie. She was writing her name on this piece of paper. She was spelling out her name, her first name, and her last name. I'll keep it anonymous. I don't know. You can probably see that. And I remember she was writing it. She was real into me. She was a freshman year of college. She was real into me. I was just too much of a pussy to make a move. And things kind of, they fell off. They fell off the first semester. And then the second semester was whatever. And then finally, like, she was sitting down, writing her name in cursive like this, like this, like this. And then finally I made a move and went in and, like, kissed her, and she returned the kiss. And then we started, like, making out a bunch and shit freshman year, which was nice. My first real girl there. And I don't know which part. I think it was around this. There was, like, this D part where she was writing her last name. And that's when I moved in for the kiss there. And then, like, we continued to sort of make out in private, even though she originally rejected me. She was into me for a while. I wasn't making a move. We slept together. And by slept together, I mean we just slept in the same bed. I didn't make any moves. I remember there was one point where she put her hand, like, on my dick, and she didn't realize it. And I was like, huh? And she was like, yeah. And then she's like, well, if he's not going to make a move, well, then fuck him, which just makes sense. And then I went and I started, like, working out. I didn't pay attention to her. I started lifting weights, you know, and then I was able to do pull-ups for the first time in my life. And then, like, we were sitting down one day and she was writing her name in cursive, and then we made out, and that was history there. That was, like, a real monumental point in my life, really. So it's interesting to see this year. And then, so the summer came, we went over to school, like, we went apart. And then the next year, like, I finagled my way back in, and then she was the first girl I had sex with. First girl. Yeah. I didn't really plan on talking about that, but this notebook, yeah, that's a funny page right there. It's a funny page. If I keep moving, it's a bunch of other fucking nonsense. I think I deleted a lot of revisionist history in this. So let me try to go to where I left off, where I had all the sort of things I regretted in here. Hopefully that audio is fine. Whatever. Fuck it. It is now 4:33 a.m. Let me try to skip ahead to what I had written down. I wrote down a bunch of other things I regret sort of further here. Now, if you're just listening, you're probably like, yo, fuck you, dude. Look at you. You're just fucking fiddling around. And I understand that, but okay, broken bones is what I got written here. Broken bones. I don't even regret breaking my bones. But I did break bones. The first time I broke a bone was I was very young. I was on my brother's shoulders. We were going down a slide. And I fell off this was indoors. I fell off the slide and I broke this wrist here. I believe it was this wrist. The second time I broke bones was my dad built like a tree fort type thing. It wasn't in a tree, but it was made out of wood. It was double decker. And we were playing like hide and go seek, and I counted to like 10 or whatever. And I went to go out and find the people I was searching for. And rather than going down the ladder, I just went face first into the rocks. And I think I broke this arm right here. And the last time I broke a bone was like later. I was snowboarding. We had a little hill in our backyard. I was snowboarding on the hill, and I fell on this wrist, and I broke that. And so this wrist was kind of like broken twice, never healed like fully. So now it kind of snaps when people like, whenever I shake hands, it kind of snaps. And then people comment on the snap, and they're like, "Oh, did it break your wrist?" And I'm like, "No, I fucking broke it twice." And yeah, I gotta give them a little whole spiel. But yeah, because I broke my wrist multiple times, it now snaps. So that's whatever. My wrist now snaps. I don't know if I regret that. That's an interesting fact about my life. You gotta learn not to break your bones. So I don't really regret it. But I don't know. Sometimes when I do push-ups, like this wrist will extremely hurt because it's weird to put pressure on it because it broke multiple times. But whatever, you know? So yeah, in case I didn't mention, I've had multiple unalcoholic beverages tonight. This is just Gatorade. This is an orange Gatorade. I like the orange Gatorade. I don't know. Do people not like the orange Gatorade? I drink the orange Gatorade. If you're listening, I'm drinking orange Gatorade. But yeah, broke my wrist and this arm. Those are all my broken bones. I don't know if I regret it, but I wrote on here. I didn't want to get into my deep regrets just yet. This is very early on. I'm on my bed. This is my current living scenario. I decided to make it very chill. I got this microphone hanging over on my mouth. I'm on my bed. If you're just listening, I am on my bed. In case I didn't say that 50 times before this. Just on my bed. All right, let's talk about another thing. I used to drum as a kid. I was a drummer. I never had a drum set, but I used to take drumming lessons. And 9/11 happened, and I was in my drumming lessons. 9/11 happened. I remember my time at school during 9/11. I was in like a home ec class, and we were making pretzels. And we can make a salt pretzel or a cinnamon pretzel. And I made a cinnamon pretzel because I've had a ton of salt pretzels, right? I figured it was different. So I made a cinnamon pretzel, and it wasn't good. It was a shitty cinnamon pretzel. I know you can make a shitty cinnamon pretzel, but I made a shitty cinnamon pretzel on 9/11. It was very bad that day. The cinnamon pretzel that I made. But anyhow, after school that day, I had drumming lessons. Don't worry, that's nothing. Don't pay attention to that. Nothing there. I didn't really spit up anything. It was just a lot of noise. I think it's just getting late. What time is it right now? Oh, 4:38. How nice. Fuck it. This is Regret the Podcast. I guess I'm supposed to regret all the things I did when I sort of spit up there. Not a lot came up, so let me just try to drink through this, because I was waiting last minute to record this shit, and now here I am. And I'm not going to edit shit. I'm just going to let it roll free. So anyhow, I made, after school I had drumming lessons, and I was like, and I was learning drums, and me and my teacher didn't talk about 9/11 at all. I just drummed with him. I remember the person after was like a person wearing like a Limp Bizkit. He said, she said, bullshit t-shirt, because Limp Bizkit was big at the time. And I went home and it was whatever. And that was my last drumming lesson was on 9/11. So 9/11 sort of ended my drumming. I do a joke about it on stage. I do stand-up about like how because of 9/11 I decided I couldn't drum, but I think I just stopped because I was tired of fucking going to drumming lessons. So I could have been a great drummer, but I stopped. So I sort of regret stopping drumming because that could have been cool, but whatever. Fuck it. Fuck drumming. I didn't even have a drumming set. I used to have a drumming pad. And then I stopped. All right. This is a blow your nose break. On Christmas, on Christmas I had like, my niece was sick and she got me sick. And I was like puking and shitting. I've never been that sick where like I was doing both the puking and the shitting at the same time, but I did on Christmas. And why am I telling you that? I don't know. I sort of regret. No, I don't regret interacting with my niece. Fuck that. I can deal with the sickness. I feel like I lost a couple LBs and I just got them back. Blam, look right here. I just got them back. If you're listening, you can't see that, but I'm just shaking my tummy right now. What else do I regret here? That's weird that I opened with that shit about my first girlfriend, but there was one day, like, we were supposed to go to fireworks on the 4th of July when I was younger. I was real into the MTV show Road Rules, and we were supposed to go to fireworks one night, and I didn't want to because there was, like, a new episode of Road Rules, so I just watched the new episode of Road Rules rather than go to fireworks, and I had a dog named Max, and I just sort of sat there with him. And he was afraid when the fireworks went off because he was a dog. He didn't understand. And I just kind of like sat there with him and watched Road Rules rather than going to fireworks. I don't even know how old I was. I don't know why I remember it so easily. And I sort of wish I had gone to fireworks that night. I kind of regret not doing that. Because, like, I could see the episode on rerun. I don't know why I had to watch the episode. I don't know. I was a weird kid. I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. I was real addicted to this game called Final Fantasy XI, which is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, an MMORPG. I was real addicted to it. And for, like, 2 years of my life, I would just play it. I was a 75 ninja. And my rank in the game was 8 out of 10. Could have been 10, but I didn't try that hard. The bigger point was that I was a 75 ninja / 37 warrior. And I was fucking good. No enemy could like fucking hit me. Towards the end of the game, I was so fucking good. But I wasted 2 years of my life playing that fucking game. Like my freshman and sophomore year of high school could have been like more social, but I played that fucking game and didn't do shit. So I sort of regret playing that fucking game. I got nothing out of it. I just got a 75. That was the highest level character, and it meant nothing. I also played like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I was real good at Tony Hawk's Underground 2. There was one day I was trying out for the best clan, which is like a group online. That's the best group online. Like in real life, when like there's groups of people that do a similar thing, like a dance group, and then the best dance group. I was the best Tony Hawk's Pro Skater group. It's called KOW. I forget what it stood for, but in order to make it into that clan, I had to get 200 million points. And I remember I got 200 million points. I got to join KOW. So that was pretty good. I don't really regret that. I used to play this game called SOCOM, which is like a shooter type game. It wasn't like a shooter type game. It was a shooter type game. It was a third person shooter. And I was okay at it. And in SOCOM 2 or SOCOM 3, I was in this gang called Spill Intestinators, which is SI8, which is like a top-rate clan that used to fight other clans. And I was in it because my group, called Global Hitmen, merged with them. And I was doing pretty good in the clan. I got I was like a respectful member. And I remember one night we were playing another top right clan in their little shooty Mabuti matches. And it wasn't supposed to be me playing, but the other guy playing was like less experienced than me. So they sort of like subbed me in. And it was like a best of 3 matches. And in all 3 matches, I didn't like get 1 kill, didn't get any points. And the next day I was just kicked out of the clan. So I guess I sort of regret playing that night. I didn't have to substitute in. I just happened to be on. But, whatever. Fuck it. That was a different time in my life. When I played a lot of video games. I quit video games since, kind of. I played video games in college. I'm still playing like fucking Candy Crush right now. I don't want to play Candy Crush, but I am. But I quit like hardcore video gaming after that. It was just a waste of time. It wasn't good for me. I just needed other things to work on. It wasn't helping. So yeah, I used to be real hardcore into video games. I got like right now, video games, I have a PS3, a TV, my laptop, my phone, which I point at my phone. My phone's not here. But I've been playing fucking Candy Crush. It's so fucking dumb. I had to take a flight. I went to New Orleans to do comedy, and I wanted to not be bored on the flight, so I downloaded Candy Crush. And now I'm still fucking playing that shit. I don't know. So whatever. I'm like beyond level 100. I've only been playing it for like a month. And I think it's bullshit. I gotta stop playing that shit, but what the fuck are you gonna do, You play Candy Crush? Do people out there play Candy Crush? Fucking swiping over candy and fucking crushing it? It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. I remember there was a time, this is unrelated, but there was a time in sixth grade, I learned how to attract women in a way. We were having like a fitness test, and it was the push-up contest. And in 6th grade, I did 50 push-ups, which was the record that year. And I remember, like, I was at, like, 40, and, like, the last 10 were just, like, fucking kill me. Like, the last 10 were just, like, I'm in 6th grade, what the fuck? They were, like, I pushed my body to the possible limit. And I remember leaving that room, and I was all hyped up for, like, hitting, like, a record for myself. And I remember I walked by this girl, I think her name was Chelsea, I'm not sure. And she was like, huh. In 6th grade, she was just like, whoo. And then, like, it wasn't until now that I thought about it that I was like, oh, women are attracted to men who, like perform beyond expectations, who, like, try really hard at something. Because I remember later somebody asked me, is like, oh, are you attracted to Chelsea? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, she must have saw me perform, like, beyond my limits and was cool with me. Do you see my nipple right now? If you're listening, you can't see my nipple, but if you're watching, my nipple's popping out. I'm wearing a wife beater, as they say, a wife beater. I'm on my bed, sitting here. It's very, very late at night. I've been drinking non-alcoholic beverages all night. It's 4:47 a.m., guys. Guys and ladies, I'm wearing my pajamas. What was I talking about? Attracting women in middle school. So yeah, I'm not going to get into my hardcore regrets. There's things I definitely do regret more than what I'm saying, but like I want to get a few in, so you understand. So I don't know, broken bones, drumming, not going on the 4th of July, popping my nipple during this podcast. This is Regret the Podcast, so what kind of happens here I may regret later, but I'm in my bed right now. How is this fucked, I'm cool as shit right now. Maybe we should take a short little break. My camera only records 30 minutes. It's been like 22 minutes. I think a good 40-minute podcast is fucking beautiful. So let's stop for a minute, and then I'll come back and tell you more of my regrets on Regret the Podcast. Thank you. Regret the Podcast is brought to you by death. We're all gonna die. Hi, and welcome back to Regret the Podcast. That was just a quick word from our sponsors. And now we're back to tell you more of my regrets. I am Matt Miller. Hopefully one day I'll bring other guests on the show to tell you about their regrets. Excuse me, but these are a few of my regrets. I regret not getting all my burps out of the way prior to this, but what time is it right now? It's 4:50 a.m. You don't know that. I'm going to release this whenever I fucking release this. You don't care. Hopefully you listen this far, but regret the podcast. What other regrets do I have? So yeah, I started off this talking about the first girl I really kissed in college. I mean, I sort of regret not being more active in trying to get at her early on. But you learn that shit. I remember our 1-year anniversary, we went to like a Celtics game. I went to a Fitchburg State University, and we took the train in to go see the Celtics. And like the Celtics did something good. They scored some points, and the dudes behind us like stood up and they spilled their beers kind of on us, mostly on her. And I was like, you guys better apologize. And they didn't really. And I sort of regret not making them apologize. But anyhow, we fucked in the shower, and like I came real quick. And then she tried to like spark up the romance more in the bedroom. And I was just already done. And I sort of regret finishing so early. And then the next day we got in such a big argument about like going to eat food because it was like too much money for me or whatever at the time. I was young. I don't know. I don't know if I regret any of that. That's just some facts for you about my life. I wrote prom on this piece of paper about regrets. Prom. I was asked to prom by someone. In my school, we only had like a junior prom. As a senior, I was asked to prom by a junior. I remember when I was a junior, though, I was asked to prom like reversely by a gal. Her girlfriend was like, why won't you go to prom with said gal? And I thought it was sort of like trying to get me to give reasons why I wouldn't go to prom with said gal. And I was like, oh, she's annoying. I don't like her. But in reality, I would have done it at the time. But she asked me, like, in reverse. She's like, oh, why don't you like blah, blah, blah? And I was like, oh, she's annoying, da, 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 da. But I would have just done it in future hindsight because whatever, fuck it. And I didn't end up going to my junior prom. I ended up going to junior prom the next year because a girl asked me out. A coworker asked me for her, and I said yes. But I would have gone to mine had these mind tricks not been played. Fuck. These non-alcoholic drinks really change shit. But yeah. High school, what a time. I wasn't popular at all. It was interesting though. College was way better. High school is kind of shitty. I don't mean to yawn because it's fucking late for me. It's late right now. If we check on the time checker, it's 4:54. If I'm going to be honest with you, I tried recording this podcast the other night. I ended up talking to my friend Mike until 5 in the morning, and I had been drinking all night, and I fucking passed out and didn't get to record it. So now this is fucking Tuesday this is Wednesday morning right now, and I just want to say words at a camera, and that's what I'm doing. I got this idea about Regret the Podcast where people tell their regrets because it seemed like an interesting idea to hear people talk about what they regret the most. And I looked it up, and I was like, other podcasts have done that, but no podcast has like that's been the central theme. So I'm sort of regretting shooting this now. I feel like I'm fucking falling asleep and not telling you the truth of my life. Hopefully you're getting the truth out. I could tell you more truths about my life, but here I am. What else did I regret in this things? I got my wisdom teeth removed. And I remember like one of the first things I did, I was still a teenager, was like suck down a fucking shake, and I guess you're not supposed to like suck things when you get your wisdom teeth removed because it could fuck up like the healing, and I think I kind of fucked up the healing. So don't suck things when you get your wisdom teeth removed because you might get fucked up in the teeth. So anyhow, let's backtrack to prom. When I went to prom, when the woman asked me out, we took pictures together, and I've still never seen those pictures. Still never seen them. I paid for them, I believe, but I've never seen them. And do I care? No, fuck it. I don't care. I've taken pictures with other women who have broken up with me, and I've never seen them. I don't know how we ever looked together, you know? There's certain women where it's just like, where the fuck, how were we together? Where as much I remember them, and it was much shorter elastic mask, but there's now more women where I forget. I don't forget you. You're very attractive. I forget you. It's not a ton. Fuck, I'm falling asleep right now. I'm trying to be interesting to everyone that's coming through right now. I got my microphone in my bed. I'm sitting here, regret the podcast. I'm going to regret saying this podcast. And if anyone reviews this and they're like, oh, I regret this podcast 1 star, it's like, you're so fucking original, you know? How can one person come up with that? That's so good. And it's just like, what the fuck am I talking about? Very niche audience based. I appreciate being put on this, which is my own, but it's awesome. Oh, I can't believe I keep closing my eyes right now. I'm just a tired motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm just so fucking tired. Now that I open my eyes, I got a fucking plate, and I can put fucking shit on it and fucking eat. I'm back in my house. Fuck, this DXM starting to fuck with me. Did I mention I used to take DXM when I was younger in my teen years to get fucked up? And one time I took 30 coughs and got Quercetin cough and cold in 2 family-sized bottles. And I thought I was going to kill myself, but I didn't. And then I stayed at a 3rd bedroom in a 3-bedroom apartment. Well, I'm checking it out. And I'll just see how that is. So I got a few places tomorrow, being the 10th, in terms of moving. Good luck, dude. Regret the podcast. So that was the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Towards the end there, I did fall asleep, and I was just kind of rambling on. I ended talking about moving, even though I had never mentioned moving prior to that. It was just on my mind at the time, I guess, because I was going to go look at apartments in 2 days, and I wasn't going to look at it the next day. And for some reason, I started talking about moving, and then I was talking about DXM, and I acted like I took it, and I didn't take any that night. I haven't taken that since high school. I guess I've had cough syrup since high school, but I haven't just like taken it to get high. I don't know why I mentioned that. I do plan on talking about that, but I barely talked about it there. And then I was talking about prom and girls, and I said that weird shit for a bit. I don't know where that was coming from. I had this weird little thing where I was like, she was attractive or something. I don't even know why I was saying that. But yeah, I did just fall asleep there. Yeah. So that's Regret the Podcast. Part of the idea of why I shot it like that is because I was probably regret saying things while under the influence. And really, listen to the whole thing. It's fine. It's whatever. And if you want to listen to me snoring, just check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/7the777, which is the number 7, the word the number 7, the word 7. And then the number 7, which is such a shitty URL. I regret having that URL, but just search Matt Miller Comedy on YouTube and you'll find me. And I'm going to put up a video of me sleeping because I fell asleep recording this. So Thanks for listening. You can find me on Twitter at Matt Miller Real and on Facebook at Matt Miller Real. So yeah, Instagram at Matt Miller Real. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Regret the podcast. Regret the podcast. Regret the podcast. Regret the podcast. Regret the podcast.